Hi, we are just waiting for Dean to join. Hi. I think he's coming in now. Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Hyped up to be here. Thanks for having me on today. Very excited about this.
Oh my God, thanks for being here. We love your sunglasses. I'm sure everyone loves them too. Tell us about those.
Well, this is the Pit Viper sunglasses. It's a partnership that we have over at Paragon, and it's one third of my usual attire for when I film TMZ every day. And I'm in the Mojo gimmick. We got the Pit Vipers, the Mojo necklace, and usually we have no sleeves as well. But today, since this is a very special occasion, I have short sleeves for you guys. So this is a big, big deal.
Oh my gosh, love it, love it. So thank you so much for being on. Obviously, we are going to be talking about everything related to wrestling and brand ambassador and sponsorship, and why brands should think about it, why everyone should promote it. So I suppose tell us firstly, why did you make the switch into wrestling? And then why did you make the switch from playing to being such an advocate for brand building in wrestling?
Absolutely. Well, being in the WWE was the first thing I ever wanted to do. Well before, I laced up a set of cleats for football. I watched every week as a kid, huddled around the TV with my dad and my brother, replicating the moves, and that was the first thing I wanted to do. Unfortunately, can't sign up for pro wrestling in grade school, so I went the football route, worked hard enough, and was lucky enough to have some success there. So made it to the NFL. And then after I had an injury, I kind of had a period of time to reevaluate my life, what the next 5, 10, 20 years would look like. And had this opportunity kind of out of left field to join the WWE. And I made that decision and just recently finished up 10 crazy, crazy, crazy years there, having the time of my life. But to answer the second part of your question, why going into kind of the advocate side, the managerial side, as many things that I think the world of professional wrestling has that a lot of other places don't, even more so than the NFL. One thing they don't have is a lot of representation. When you're with one of the big companies like WWE, they do everything for you. They handle your bookings, your scheduling, your flights. Like literally, you have nothing to worry about. But then the second you're out of there, you're kind of thrust out into the cold world, and you have no idea how to make your next paycheck. I mean, we're talking about some guys that went right into wrestling from some from high school, some didn't even finish high school. They just had this gift and they went right in. And either way, some do have college degrees, but maybe they weren't in business and they just needed the expertise and someone to help them negotiate contracts or look for next jobs and all these things that we try to provide with Paragon. So since I was already in the same boat as all of my friends, learning how to relive on the outside, I partnered up with one of my best friends, Steve K, and we created Paragon to essentially be this conduit between the world of professional wrestling and the real world itself. And it's just been going incredible. We're more incredibly busy than anything else we got going on right now.
Amazing. And then tell me, so did you see a difference in your fan base between your time at the NFL and WWE? And how would you describe the fan base of both different types of sports and athletes?
Absolutely. So I'll say one thing. I mean, I am of the belief that the NFL is America's biggest sport. So you have some hardcore fans in the NFL, obviously. It's mainstream everywhere you go. It's football. We're talking about playoff season, the Super Bowl. It's one of the biggest days of the year. It's almost like a national holiday. Um, One thing you don't really have as much in football is, that individual support for each player on the team. Of course, people are massive Green Bay Packers fans and massive Cowboy fans, but once you leave that city, does everyone in the U.S. really know who both starting guards for the Cleveland Browns are right now?
Yeah.
Know who are the cornerbacks for the Cincinnati Bengals? If you leave those areas, you very much might not know the answer to those questions. However, in the world of professional wrestling, every wrestling fan knows every wrestler on the roster and what their gimmick is, how they dress, their likes, their dislikes, what their catchphrases are, their personal bios, where they're born and raised. Wrestling fans, I mean, I played for the Packers. I thought the Packers fans were hardcore. Wrestling fans take it to a whole different level, and that's been something that, we've been able to capitalize on, and that's been something that's been maybe most appealing to brands, that there's this
Yeah.
immediate identifiable uh, international following for professional wrestlers. So that's been kind of like the change up in the followings, learning how to manipulate both markets, how to work within that, and really just give the people what they want, and brands what they want.
Yeah. I remember when we talked before, you raised this amazing point about how the WWE athletes, they're performers and they're content creators, and they're in front of the camera. They're doing their sport, but they're also, you know, performance, like it's a performance as well. And so that obviously works itself so nicely into sponsorship deals where you need people who are natural, like yourself, like extroverts and like great in front of the camera. So maybe talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'll just liken it to sports for a second. How many athletes are there in each professional sport that everyone in the country knows, that are household names? It's really not that many. And then you take it from there, how many of those guys are big personalities that could thrive outside of just their sport? Even smaller number. Now we're talking about promo ability to do this immediately and instantaneously on the fly in one take. This is a very, very small number in any sport. And I don't want this to sound like I'm insulting sports. It's just that's not their forte. They're there to play their games. For us, we're entertainers, so that we combine the entertainment side with the athletic side, and to kind of walk you through what a typical television taping was like. You get there a handful of hours before your show, you're handed a script which is going to change 10 times throughout that day, who you're wrestling, if you have a promo, what that promo is going to entail, how many people are associated in your match, how much time you got, who's your coach going to be. These factors are literally changing every minute, on the minute, the entire day. So we just became kind of masters of improv, of being thrown out there in front of millions of people watching at home, thousands, tens of thousands of people watching live in the arena, and having to do our thing on one take with no mistakes, on the fly. And that's the thing, if you make a mistake, you might be fired, you might be pulled off TV for a year, and you might not even know why. So it's really got to be bulletproof every time you go out there, and that's the job. You learn how to kind of handle those adverse or dynamic work environments, and handle accordingly. So when it comes to a brand giving you a direction, if they give us 24 hours to create a promo or a video or an ad campaign of some kind, that is way more time than we even need. We're used to somebody saying, I need this video in
Yeah.
first take, what you got. We got print to make, or something like that. And that's where our guys have really been able to corner the market and kind of find their specialty in the marketplace, and deliver these brands something that they're just frankly not used to.
No, I love it. I love it. And I think one of the things I absolutely love is just like we've talked about you've got amazing women who are in the wrestling world that you're repping. You've got global appeal. Maybe just, I suppose, last question from my side is tell me a bit about the brands that you want to work with. If we send this out to our database, like who are the categories that you're like, yes, you should be in wrestling?
Well, the quick answer to the categorical question is yes. We want to work with everybody. At this point, we have 50 talent signed to Paragon. And again, these are people with completely different backgrounds, with completely different skill sets, completely different characters from completely different countries. all over the world. So we like to say that no matter who the brand is, we got at least a couple people for everyone out there. And that's been part of the mission of Paragon, is to operate in circles that, you know, maybe professional wrestling hasn't in the past, to kind of educate the marketplace on what our people can do and what they can offer. So we certainly don't want to shortchange ourselves by limiting what industries we work with. We want to work with everybody. We want to diversify ourselves, our company, and then the brands as well. And then to kind of touch on the question about our women, man, our women are absolute stars. These girls can go. I mean, professional wrestling has evolved to a place in today's contemporary society where there is no discrepancies or imbalances between the men and the women in professional wrestling. Everybody can go. There was a time period decades ago where, you know, women were some wrestlers. There were some that could go, but not everybody could. Some were maybe thrust into more managerial roles, or maybe to look pretty on camera. Today, these girls are throwing down every week, giving the guys a run for their money. There's literally no way to tell which gender's coming on top, because it's literally complete equality that we're working with. From the brand and the partnership side of it, our women are easily the most requested. They typically have the higher followers on social media. They're able to tap into certain markets that the guys cannot. And yeah, again, from the managerial side, the girls are definitely the most requested talent that we have. So they've
Yeah.
been incredible. It's been so awesome to see. Been so happy for them.
And I think the other thing that I love is, obviously every brand wants to get an ROI from their marketing spend. And ROI is a function of how much you invest and then how much you return. And so when you can get someone who has millions of followers or even hundreds of thousands of followers, and it's not as expensive as some of the traditional sports, you're probably more likely to see success. And I think that's such a winning formula where you guys you're good value. I mean, it's still like good money for the athletes, but it's not there's a chance there for the brand to really make a return. Do you agree with that?
100%. And I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's been a very defining characteristic of Paragon as well. Because if you're dealing with some of these other athletes in other sports, if you want to have the name value and the amount of followers that our guys have, you're going to have to pay a lot more for those guys, because frankly, some of those guys are on 10, 20, 30 million dollar annual contracts. Um, Not many wrestlers out there making that kind of money. So we'll be able to do the same job, probably better than a lot of those guys could do, to be quite frank with you, at a much more reasonable rate. And then you go ahead and you combine that with the fact that the WWE was more or less founded on merchandising. That's what took them to the next level from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Wrestling merch sells, and I really do want to take this well past WWE and AEW and, you know, Impact, New Japan, all these other top wrestling promotions around the world, because wrestling fans buy merch. Those price points make a lot of sense for our demographic. So when you're talking about ROI, you're going to get someone with probably way more followers than anyone else you're negotiating with, for maybe a more reasonable price than some of those high paid athletes. And you're going to be dealing with a fan base who produces fantastic ROI and are internationally known for it.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. All right. Is there anything we can all do to help you? I mean, obviously for our team, it's go get you deals, but anything else that you want to shout out that we can do to help you and all of your professional wrestlers who are amazing and deserve to be doing endorsement deals with everyone?
This is exactly all we need right here, is the opportunity to speak with people like yourself, with people like open sponsorship, who are absolutely killing it, by the way. Don't I need to get that too. And just showing everybody what we have to work with. You know, there was a time period where I personally feel that the world of professional wrestling was kind of contained within the world of professional wrestling. And that's been the primary goal of Paragon, is to break that down, to reintroduce our talent to the world and start to create these synergies that are just mutually beneficial to all parties involved. So just having this opportunity to chat about what our people can do is absolutely huge, and we're grateful for that. We're confident that we have somebody for every brand out there that can make you guys happy, that can take a one-off opportunity and turn it into an annual partnership, which is, of course, you know, the ultimate goal here. But again, thank you so
Yeah.
much to you, team. You guys have been absolutely perfect in starting Paragon. Open sponsorship was one of the very first places we turned, because there needs to be that bridge between talent and brands, because quite frankly, brands are always looking for more talent and they struggle to find the right fits, and athletes are always looking for
Yeah.
sponsorship partners and they struggle just as much. So to have this conduit in between to help usher these partnerships along is absolutely huge. So thank you very much to you and your team for having us here today, giving us the opportunity to chat. And I know it'll be a very fruitful relationship going forward, as it already has been since we first started talking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the main thing there that I'll point out is, obviously what we do is our brands will put up a campaign a bit like a job posting, and our athletes, agents like yourself will get the opportunity to apply. And a lot of brands come in and they think they want to work in NFL or with an Olympian. And then the way that you will pitch them and you'll represent your athlete and, other people like yourself, these brands will go, oh, I didn't really think about wrestling, or I didn't, that wasn't on my mind, or I didn't think about women as a wrestler or whatever else. And so I think it's such a joint thing that we're doing, where we are bringing the brands into the ecosystem, but you're the ones who are like educating. And that's what we love, which is anyone can come in with a certain ideal, but they walk away much happier based on an authentic fit, which is, what we're obviously doing here. So it's great to see you apply to those campaigns and like do that work to get your athletes deals.
Thank you very much. It's been a win-win for everybody.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Stay in touch. We'll see you very soon.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody for listening, watching along with us too.
Absolutely. Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.